of the computer. All right, welcome everyone to The View from the Rock. Here we are in June, which has gone significantly faster than I think any month for the first part of the year. I don't know what's happening, but we're almost through it. Which for me means that I'm getting ready to move. Amy Keinert is actually on her way to making her way out towards Alaska right now. So a big track ahead of her. So she won't be on the call with us today. And we have Stephanie and Angie who are at appointments. So it's going to be me and Kelly. And then we have a special guest here today. Lisa has volunteered to come and share some stuff that she's been doing that she's found very helpful. Lisa, you've been a coach for about over 4 years now, 4.5 years?
Yeah, probably around there, 4.5.
And so she's kind of gone back and forth with like different things that work for her during different points in her life. She was working full-time, and now she's at home full-time with her kids. And so she's found new ways to kind of work this business in. So she's going to share some things that I think are going to be helpful. I asked in our team page for some ideas of things that you guys would find helpful for a team call and things that you were looking for. And one big thing that I think many of us, if not all of us, are struggling with right now is we just want other ways to connect with people and grow this business off of social media. And so Facebook specifically. And I don't think I have to explain why. I think we all kind of understand there's just a vibe there right now that all of us are kind of trying to like take a step back from and break from. But I wanted to just kind of speak to that. This business was built before social media. I mean, network marketing has been around for many, many years. I'm on a call right now, okay? Just go ask Allison for help. And before we had social media, we were building face-to-face. So it is absolutely possible. And I know Lisa's going to share some things with us that Daniel Natoni has shared for some ideas that you can use with that. But I also want to just kind of bring a reminder that the big reason that we're on social media, the reason it's supposed to be, and I have to remind myself of this too, is that we're there for what we can give to others and not what we can get per se. And when I say what we can get, I mean like when we're scrolling and what we're receiving is like that negativity and that anxiousness. And so I think a lot of what we're facing with social media is just being able to be very diligent and with a plan and a purpose for going in. I know right before we had this whole shutdown, I had deleted, in fact, it was the week before we left, I went to Philadelphia with my family. We got there just in time, I guess. And I had deleted Facebook, the app, off my phone. And the only time I would go on is if I had a plan and I was going to log in on my computer with my plan in front of me while I was there. I'm going to check on my groups. I'm going to make this post. I'm going to send this message. Boom, 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 done. And it was so great. And then, of course, when all of this hit, I felt very compelled to get on social media to figure out what the heck was going on. And I still don't know. Anybody else know? So, but I feel like that if we can kind of take that mindset and really sit down and process what we want to accomplish when we go on social media, I feel very strongly, as much as I want to like leave Facebook behind for good, I have looked into things like there are other social media outlets. None of them are as big as Facebook or Instagram, but there's MeWe, there is All Social. I'm on there. I'm not doing anything with them. Parler is kind of like Twitter. Faith Social, so that's more of a faith-based social media group. So there are other options. If you just want to, like what I did was I just signed up for it. I'm not on there trying to build anything right now, but I do like having that connection, just playing around with it to see what's there. So there are other options. And if you want to start, I mean, when I started this business, I basically was starting Facebook brand new and fresh. And so it's completely possible. And a fresh start is always helpful. especially when we're struggling, when we've kind of lost. I think a lot of us have just kind of lost our way with Facebook, and I mean that's completely legitimate. So hopefully today some of the things we share will give you guys some ideas and help you get out there a little bit more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let Lisa share a little bit of what she's doing. Two different things. Tools that are helping you. So I think you're going to talk about Trello. I don't know if you're going to talk about anything else. And then go ahead and jump right in, or whatever way you want to do it. Go ahead and jump right in with it, and with the Danielle and the Tony stuff and things that are off social media. And then Kelly and I will jump in and share, kind of bounce off, cover anything that we're doing that you're not doing. Sound good?
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so I'll jump right in the screen share my Trello. Let's see if I can get this to you now.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so now I don't see it though. Hold on. Okay. So you can do different boards, I guess you would call them. So I have different boards here. I have new convos that are started. Now I'm doing very basic right now. I do like 2 a day. So sometimes more depending on the day, but so I have 2 new convos and I add them here and the new convo started. Then if they respond back, they're in this respond back board. So now what I can do is I'll show an example. I'll add a card here. So I'll just put test and add it. Now you can just move this right over. So I can move it over to responded back, and we respond back and start talking, and I invite them, and I can just move them right over to my invites. And then if they end up purchasing, they can move to my customers. Now I'll go into one of these that I invited.
I'm sorry, Lisa, I accidentally muted you and I was trying to unmute me. So a couple of seconds we missed. I was going to ask you, is Trello free?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
So you can create your own labels here. So I created my own like hot lists. So if they did express interest, I'll put that there. And then I put what I invited them to, if it's a challenge group or to coaching or a free group or Shakeology, so that I can quickly see what's going on there. Then you have your activity, so I can write about what's going on. So like, I think this girl told me she wasn't ready right now, maybe in a couple months. So I have follow up with her in August. And then you can do a due date and pick what date you want to follow up with them. And then it will tell you, let me get out of this here. Okay. And then I also write, because like right now when I start new conversations, it's mostly on Instagram. My daughter does a thing called Radish Kids. So I'll search that hashtag and find other moms doing that. And then I'll just send a message like, hey, I see you're doing Radish Kids too. How are you guys liking that? So I'll put their name, their handle, and then Instagram and Radish Kids. If it's a police wife, I have Leo wife here that I reached out to.
That's good. I have a quick question too. When you put the due dates on there, does it automatically remind you, or do you just kind of see it when you go to their name?
So here you'll see some due dates I have on the customer side.
Okay, it highlights it for you. That's good.
And then the green here is like it's coming up. And also over up to the top right-hand corner, there's a little bell here. You can click on that, and then it'll show you all your notifications of.
That's really cool.
And then like I added recently my leads, so I'll put that I send them either like an upgrade to a challenge pack, or if it's my first time emailing them, like my welcome email. And then I have my dream team, my people. So even if it's someone I haven't really invited yet, they're just someone I really connected with, I'll put them in that list. And then I have my active challengers, and then my coaches, which aren't many right now, but we're working on that. So, and I have some scripts here that I had sent out and I just wanted to save to have on hand. But that's basically the gist of what I do with Trello.
That looks really simple, honestly. I don't know if that looks overwhelming to you guys or not. I've actually seen the Trello when it's blank, and it's really not. I mean, so you showed them how to open a new card, and then, I mean, it's really, I think once you get in there, it's pretty self-explanatory how to add stuff. Would you mind sharing some of the things that you had done before and why you decided this was a better fit for you?
I've tried doing pen and paper, but then first of all, I have messy handwriting, so I can't read my own stuff sometimes. And then to just following up with the people was just getting hard to keep that pipeline going. I tried Google Streak, but that was just not very user friendly for me. I couldn't get that quickly like I could with Trello. I've tried Teamsy before, and I think maybe I was doing it wrong when I was first starting out, because I was kind of following up with using a follow-up as not just people who were interested, but just anyone really on my list, and it got overwhelming and you had to pay for it. So I wasn't getting the results that I felt like I should keep paying for it. Yeah, I think there's only 3 things I've tried. I've gone back from like pen and paper to trying to do some. Oh yeah, I've tried Google Streak. That's the one I just said, not Streak, like Excel, an Excel document. But that to me just got out of control too. Like I like that this reminds me, and I like the little color coded thing. So like right now I'm at the end of the month and I want to make my last sale, so I'm looking at my hot list people and
Yeah,
reaching
that's
out
awesome.
to them to see if they're if they're ready, and let them know about the sale we have going on. And I used this at work for a bit when I was working, so I was a little bit familiar with it other than the other programs. So
I have a couple questions, Lisa. Do you do a new board every month, or is this just ongoing?
I started this like maybe a month and a half ago.
Okay.
So right now it's just ongoing. This is not all my people. I've been just kind of adding them as we go along, because
Right.
to try to do it all over again would just be overwhelming.
So that was because I was curious, like, if you wanted to start a new board, is it easy to move people from this board to the next board, or you have to re-enter everybody?
No, like I'll show you down here, this girl right here, you can just move her right over
Okay.
on. So you can move them back and forth easily.
So you could do like a whole board for your inviting, and then if you, as your team grows, you could do a separate board for like customers, like a whole, like not this sheet, but a different, I guess, would it be a sheet? Is that how it works? I think this is really neat how it lays out, because I find where people struggle the most is visually following up and scheduling the follow-up. And that's why I like paper, because I like to see the names, which is why I struggle with Teamsy, because I felt like, I don't know, it's just my visual. I like to see the names, but I went back to paper, but I'm using too many highlighters. So I like how you can label stuff and move stuff over, so you don't lose someone in the cracks. But I was just curious, like, is it hard to make a whole new, like, I would almost think, like, I'm just thinking out loud, like, is it, you just have a master list and you add people and kind of take people out as you go?
Yeah, I just kind of move along as I go.
Cool.
So like, so respond back, invite, and I just keep
really
moving
good.
over to customer.
I think what she's saying, because, all right, so we're looking at different cards here, but if you want it, so up here where it says Beachbody tracking, you would, you're talking about a whole new board.
Yeah.
So I think you're talking about just like clicking here, and I've never done it, but I'm assuming you would click right there on board, and that's where you would add another one.
Let's try.
Yeah, create new board down on the bottom there.
Okay.
And
Because
so,
I'm just thinking, as your client list grows, it would be really cool to almost have a client board where you have a funnel with them to like upgrade their process, where you could have bod, Shakeology, performance, like you could categorize people. This is really good.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you for sharing this. I have coaches that use spreadsheets that work for them, and then some that use paper, but I feel like for this is a great Streak is something that I'm the same way. It either works, but I feel like it takes a lot of time to
Mhm.
keep it working.
Any other questions?
I'm with you too. Like with Teamsy, I didn't like how you only saw a couple people at one time. Like I like this, that you have like your list of people and you can just, for
Yeah.
visual purposes, kind of just
Right. Well, it's like you see the funnel. I like how you, this is cool. I've seen Trello boards to organize tasks. I've never seen them to organize your business. So this is really cool.
Very clever. Any other questions on Trello before she tells us how we can get the heck off of Facebook? Do you find that you're getting a lot of your customers right now more on Instagram?
Kind of both, really. I mean, because I have some people I have on Instagram and on Facebook, so they're mostly been people that I've been talking to for a while, though, or reached out to me. Like I haven't stopped reaching out to people, but just in the past couple of months, I've had people, you know, I'm ready, and you're the first person I thought of, you know, which was cool because I never had that a lot happen before.
Right.
So, all right, want me to jump into the other thing?
Yeah. Let's hear
Okay.
it. We were talking about you know, ways to get off of social media and things that we can do that aren't so much with our face in Facebook. Specifically for me, I think that's where the most drama is. But so it was Danielle Natoni, I think, right? And you got this from the
The champions page.
Champions page. That's right. Cool. Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing she says though is this is not to replace your social media.
Yes.
You still need to be posting like your stuff, because if you know you want people to come see your page or your Facebook and see what you're doing. And then she said you don't know until you try. A lot of this stuff right now I think is hard to do because of COVID going on, and we can't get into groups with people and have parties and all that kind of stuff. But as we hopefully get back to normal, I think these things would help, or brainstorm on ways you can do it virtually. Okay, so number one is to do one workout class per month. So either at your gym, I know I did when bar first came out, I went to my local bar class, I took a bar class there. I know sometimes they have like yoga in the park and stuff like that. So to go to one of these classes, to meet people and make new contacts with other people who are fitness minded. So get, you know, make a conversation, get their Facebook or Instagram and connect with them afterwards. Number two is to teach a fitness class or fit club or do a neighborhood workout. So if you don't want to go get certified to teach, I know we used to do this when I first started. Our coaches would get together and do like a fit club where we all get together and do a workout like once a week at the school or something like that. And then you have your little sign in with, you know, everyone's email address. So you have people, other info besides just their Facebook, you have their email, people who are interested in working out, and that builds a connection, excuse me, with them. Number three was sample packets. So if you're a sports parent, you know, and you have your snack duty, throw in a Daily Sunshine or a Beach Bar or something like that. And I know recently, like I had someone come power wash our house, and I found out he was a firefighter, and he has a wife that wanted to get into fitness. So on his last day, I gave him a Shakeology cup and some samples, and he actually reached out to me to get some Shakeology. So that's the, you know, people you don't really think of maybe who would want it, like you just never know. Number four was booths and like wedding expos, health fairs. So like if there's a wedding expo, you can go there and set up your little Beachbody stuff and maybe have a sign up for a sweating for the wedding challenge. Again, another way to get email addresses. maybe do a little giveaway while you're there if they put their email address in there. Health fairs are another good one. And then the booths at like expos, like just normal expos. But I know like, so they're not really doing that kind of stuff right now, but.
Yeah, well, that's so my friend Lindsay Catarino, she was one of the first coaches that joined my team. She would do this, and she would sign up for help and she'd take a friend with her, one of her coaches, and they'd go set up a table, and she had great success. And I think with things like that, like if you can just go and get someone to give you their email address and connect with them, that's really the big winner, you know. So this can be really great. And you know, we'll be opening things up. It'll all be this will all be behind us eventually. So
yes, for sure. Okay, the other one is making baskets for like raffles and fundraisers and silent auctions. So like I know my school or my kids' school, they have like the fall festival, and you can donate a basket and people can bid on it, and they put their email addresses on there, things like that. So you can do like, I was thinking this year if they have it to do like, I still have Court of Force DVD. So I'll put that in there with like the containers and some Shakeology samples and stuff. And then you know the people that are signing up for that are interested in fitness and getting healthy. So you can reach out to them that way. Number 6 was gift bags. So like for teacher appreciation, I know for like past couple years I've done, especially around Halloween, it's I guess my thing, I'll do healthy treats, no tricks for Halloween, and I'll put like the chocolate Shakeology in there and give them the recipe for the peanut butter cup Shakeology. And now that we have the beach bars, I'll throw that in there and like an Energize, and I'll give that to their teachers. And this past year gave it to their dance teachers too, because she was very into healthy eating and stuff like that. So she was actually really excited when I gave it to her. So that's a good way to, you know, just throw your stuff in there. Number 7 was volunteering at your kid's school, sports teams, etc., like stuff like that. I've had a lot of success with doing this, and it really wasn't in the beginning. Well, it still really isn't. You know, I like volunteering at my kids' school and meeting other moms, but I've had a lot of moms after getting to know me for, you know, it takes a little bit, like a year or so, but I've had a lot of clients come from volunteering at the preschool and stuff like that. So even at, you know, volunteering at your church, things like that.
I agree, and I think even if it's just one person, because I remember in Florida I volunteered a lot at the kids' school, and I think even if it's just one person, like building that closer face-to-face relationship can go 10 times as far as just 10 random connections on social media. So it really does make a big difference.
Yes, and the other thing I do, I throw in here is a lot of times I'll get invited to a party from a friend or someone from school for their kids' birthday parties. And a lot of times people are doing Facebook invites, like a group invite for the party. So then like after I go to the party and I mingle and I talk to people, like I go back to that page and I'll try to friend request the people that I met there.
Good.
So then we are at number 8 is set up little demos at like Starbucks or whatever little local businesses that will let you set up. 5Ks are a big one because you've got people there who are running and need some energize and hydrate. And you can bring some samples there. Same thing like you would do at an expo probably, and bring our little samples for people to try. Number 9 was women supporting women. So if you have a friend who sells oils or wine or whatever else it is that they sell, you do like a joint party together. So like they bring their people, you bring your people, and you know, it doesn't have to be a competition. It can be like maybe they don't want their oils, but they want your Shakeology or vice versa, or they might want both, but it's a good way to kind of not have to be like on your own doing one thing and have more people come. And
Yeah,
nobody,
I think people are craving these parties now. I think it might be easier now because everybody's like, yes, I'll come. Whatever you're doing. Get me out of my house.
yeah. So then, especially like if you're hosting, you know, make your fixate recipes for appetizers, have some samples of beach bars, and then it's even easier if you're at your own house to make, you know, the Shakeology samples and stuff like that for people to try. And then number 10 was to sell things at local businesses. Like, for example, maybe your hairdresser, ask her if she'll take a box of beach bars and sell them for $1 or $2. So when people are there like waiting and hungry, they can grab something healthy to eat, or Energize, or whatever we can think of that, you know, would help that certain niche of people, I guess.
Yeah, that's a fun idea. And then if they see that it's working, like they're selling it and people are liking it, then they are obviously potential coaches that will sell. So that's a really good idea. I've never thought of that. Thank you, Lisa. Does anybody have any questions on those? And again, Lisa's right. I mean, a lot of this stuff, it's kind of like everything's, you know, in a transitional phase right now, but this stuff's all going to come back. And we're going to find new, creative, inventive ways to do what we do. We always have. We just kind of have to brainstorm and think about that stuff and how we want to approach it now. And like I said, I think having parties now, to me, if I were invited to one, even though normally I'm like, no, I don't do parties, I think now I'd be like, absolutely, I'll do it. I'll come. All right. Kelly, would you like to jump in and share a couple of the ideas and just bounce off anything that maybe she didn't talk about, and then I'll jump in and anything. I think I'm doing a lot of what you guys are doing.
Sure. So I would say for me, most of my connecting has been on social media, but not so much on Facebook. I do still connect on Facebook, but I'm spending more time connecting on Instagram. But other things you can do, it just kind of depends on your niche. Like, I think you could develop like some kind of free tool that you want to offer to people to help them during this time, and connect with them through offering a gift versus just asking. I feel like that those are helpful during this time. Something else that's helped me is like Courtney and I sometimes speak at like churches for different topics on marriage, but I've started to share it, like offer to do, like I'm doing a talk online for a group of women at another church, and they want to hear about what I do as a coach, but they want me to come speak on like mindset stuff. And so I'm kind of looking at that as a way of like, if you're already involved in like a Bible study or a book study, finding a way to weave in a topic that relates to like your part of the journey and what, because the beauty of this opportunity is it's helped us more than just fitness. Like we've all grown, you know, so if you've learned like some things about nutrition or some things that like, you know, a 2B mindset or something like that, like offering that, like, which is kind of like volunteering, but offering to like share, to teach, or to do like book studies for a long time. I ran them virtually, but you could do them in person. And that was a way to connect with like-minded women who, like, I used to do an Advent and Lent Bible study, and I met more people that way, just connecting through faith and prayer and journaling. And then they also knew, because of being on social media and just being present about what I do, that I did other things. And so that kind of opened up the door. I feel like, so I kind of prepared a couple other things for today, because you had mentioned like things we do to save time.
Yes, no, whatever you it was both of those things, the things that we do to save time,
Okay.
and then like
I don't have anything more
media.
to add to what she does except
No,
for the speaking
I
thing.
agree.
Okay, because I started thinking like, wow, I do get asked to give talks. Maybe now if I gave talks and at the end of them, like I connected them to the things I do, that might be a great way for me to connect through something we already do. So when I got to the point, you know, our time is limited. Go ahead. Oh, our time is limited. I found that, outsourcing some of the things that take you away from inviting is really important. And so John Maxwell says that anyone who can do something, I think he says like 80% as good as you, like you should outsource. So they don't have to do it as good, like, but they need to be, it needs to be decent. So for me, what you focus on grows in your team. So, and what you focus on and recognize in your challenge group grows. But doing recognition, sometimes I feel like we don't do it because it takes time away from the vitals. So like one of the first things I outsourced was I had a coach who she was not building the business, but she was very active in the challenge groups and wanted to earn a little extra money. And I asked her, she's super organized, super like task oriented, if she would mind doing shout outs for me. And so it took her about an hour or two a month total, but she would like collect. So like we do like a workout poll and a Shakeology poll, and she would like collect the names that got so many of them done and do a shout out graphic, or she would shout out SC points or volume or whatever once a month. But it doesn't seem like that big a deal, but to me it contributed to like the morale of the challenge group or the morale of the team, and I didn't have to worry about the time it took to put it together. And then I had a little more like income to put into having someone help with more with this stuff. And now my oldest daughter does this for me, but I had a coach do it for a long time. She schedules all my posts for my challenge groups. So I pay her. She works about an hour and a half a week, and she schedules all my challenge group posts, does the recognition in my challenge groups. She makes check-in graphics. So I will tell her what I want, and then she'll go into Canva and design all of it. And she's really good at it, and it just saves me a lot of time, and it gives her a little bit. So, she's 15, but I feel like my second oldest is almost 14. Like she could work the Canva too. It's not super complicated, but she schedules the BOD groups, and I have one Facebook group that's still growing.
So you just need a responsible teenager.
Yeah.
If you don't have one, adopt one.
Pretty much. I mean, like, because she wanted a job, she's not old enough to go out and get a job yet, and it gave her some spending money, right? So it saved a lot of time. I also eventually, and I don't think you need to do this right away, but I used to create all my content for my challenge groups, and that got to be, I like doing it. I'm a teacher, so I enjoyed it, but it takes a lot of time. So if you go into Etsy or Mompreneur, they have challenge group guides. You can do a subscription. You can go to Etsy. You could buy not even a full challenge group. You could get like a free challenge that you use every 3 months. It's $7, and it comes with this entire challenge guide that has a meal plan and all the posts and everything. And at first it's like, oh, but that's like $7. Yeah, but that would have taken me like 3 or 4 hours to put together, and they're really nice. So I just last year, so I've been a coach for almost 7 years, and I last year invested in that because to me, it saved me a lot of time. I don't use every single post that she curates, but to me, the meal plans and the tools she provides, the Mompreneur is what I get. I use them in newsletters. It's a freemium. I can use them for different things, and it saves me time. The key is like, if you have an hour a day to spend on your business, like 40 minutes of it needs to be inviting and connecting, and 20 minutes of it needs to be in your challenge group and in your team. So that's like 40 minutes inviting, connecting, 10 minutes in your challenge group, and 10 minutes in your team. And as your team grows, you'll spend more time on your business. But if you can outsource the stuff that you don't have to do, then you can be the supporting piece who's in there checking on people. You can take the time to actually check in challengers. I had a season where I had an assistant who sent my check-in message to my challengers, and then I responded, just because it saved me 30 minutes to have her copy paste what I wrote. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wrote it. It wasn't like she did any of this. And I don't do that now because I'm changing since with BOD groups how I check in with people. But if you could think, when you write down, these are the things that take up my time, that kind of like suck you away from, because the other thing is I enjoy doing those things, but when I do them and I'm done, I have no energy left to invite people. because it
Mhm.
took all my creativity. Like they doesn't like energize me to go invite. It's like, oh, now I'm done. And so it just helped to make a list of those things. The other thing that really helps me when I work is I use Newsfeed Eradicator on my Facebook. It's a extension you can put on Google. So I don't have a newsfeed. Like I go to log into Facebook and I can see my page and then it's blank. And so if I want to see someone, I actually have to type their name in and go to their page, which helps you work from a list. And I also just started using Instagram on my computer too, because even though there is a news feed, you can't scroll as fast on your computer top. So when I go to Instagram, instead of just scrolling my feed and even engaging in getting lost in stories, I actually go to hashtags I follow and engage with like the top posts in the hashtags. And that's just saved time. Um, I'm trying to cut back on the time I'm on my phone. Like, especially now that you can do these things from your laptop. But outsourcing was huge for me. I put it in my budget for my business. As my business grows, my budget for outsourcing grows. Like the next thing I'm planning to outsource is my newsletter writing, because it takes time. And, or sending out, like, if you have a new coach, like having a person who can do all of that for you. If you had told me that 5 years ago, it would have overwhelmed me, because that's not where I was yet. But I'm getting to the point now where it's just the things that take extra. The other thing I was going to tell you that's really important, I'm reading High Performing Habits, like the second half of the book, because I never finished it, however many years ago Brendon Burchard spoke. But something he said that was really powerful that I 100% agree with is that you have to be comfortable when you're growing a team and in your challenge groups to ask people to help lead. You're not burdening them, you're blessing them. So like if you have a challenger who's doing really well, asking them to do something in the group to help lead. And for our team, I have coaches on our team. I ask them to lead team calls. I ask them to lead webinars. I ask them to do a training in the team page. I used to feel like, oh, I hope I'm not bothering, but I realized that's how you help people on your team step into their leadership. And then it helps too, because when you're inviting to the team, I tell people all the time, like, it is a team effort. So like, you're not doing it all yourself. So, asking coaches to help lead team calls, to help teach, we have Challenger Zoom calls, so our coaches take turns leading those. But it really shows people you value them when you trust them to do a training, or or to do a post or whatever it is. I think that's another way to recognize. And I think when Beachbody first came out with the 4th vital of recognition, I don't know, maybe you guys didn't, but I was like, oh, come on, really? Because I was like thinking it meant like razzle dazzle, like trophies and stars and stage. But I think they actually, I don't know if they intend to do this, but they got to the heart of the fact that people want to feel appreciated and they want to feel seen. And so if we're being a product of product and we're inviting people and we're doing personal development, we want to show the fruit of it. So when you ask people, like my daughter likes that she has an opportunity to serve and work for me. You know what I mean? When I have coaches help, sometimes they get nervous when I ask them, but I'd like to think I'm helping them grow. When I shouting out and recognizing in simple ways, not complicated, or asking, and that's where I'm trying to get better with collecting testimonies and things from challengers to highlight and spotlight people in a simple way, because I think recognizing progress is how you make more progress. So those were just some tips that helped me. I started outsourcing when I had coached about maybe a year. I mean, I was a diamond coach who had like 8 coaches on her team. It wasn't like I had a huge team, maybe 10. And I started immediately outsourcing because it was something, and it was, like I said, it was just like the recognition graphics. It wasn't like a huge deal. And then over time, it's been more and more. There have been seasons where my assistants quit, and before I hired my daughter, and I had to go back to doing it all myself, and it was very draining. So, when you do recognition,
Do you see that question? Yeah.
In my challenge group, I do it in my challenge group. I would like to do more recognition of my challengers in my stories with their permission, but my challengers don't love to share photos.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking more for experiences, which is better. and to share their experience in a word graphic, and their name doesn't have to be on it unless they want me to put their name on it. So I've been working in a mastermind learning more about this kind of stuff, and I've actually, verbal testimonies count more than a photo any day, because people are used to photos. They're almost like white noise now when they see these.
Yeah.
Not that you shouldn't share your before and after, share yours, but when you share someone else's, that mixed in with words, like people want the experience. So I want to start like having a testimony kind of form people can fill out and ask permission to share it, and almost do like a $5 Starbucks card drawing for out of everyone that submits it every month, so people get, as a thank you for sharing. But that's my next thing. I want to start collecting those, because I do like shout out coaches who rank advanced, or coaches who have transformations that they share. I do that often, but I want to do more of that outside of the challenge group with permission.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So kind of to spin off what you were saying with the like the freemiums. So what, and I'm just going to say, this is like something I know about, but I have not effectively made it a good effort at putting into practice. But using kind of freemiums to collect email addresses, so that's kind of where my mind is going with spending less time on social media, because I do right now, a lot of my connection, a lot of where I spend my time on invites is through email. And I know that like email is obsolete. We get so much junk mail, but I feel like for me right now in this space, and the only reason I'm able to do that is because I have built up so many leads over 9 years. So I know this isn't something that everybody can do. So when I kind of thought about that, I was like, well, how could I use that so that I am getting more, somehow attracting more people with email? And that's really the way to do it. And I think, Kelly, I haven't done, what's her name? Kayla Ibanez? You
She
do
has
her
a
stuff.
course this Sunday. I'll post the link to it. It's $34, but it's like well worth the $34, because she's going to teach how to create a freebie and how to collect emails and how to set this all up. And
I would recommend that for sure.
yeah, I mean, I've invested with Kayla a lot. I've done her Instagram training. I'm doing like a master class now for like systems when you have like a business and stuff. And she over delivers like beyond. And so I signed up for this class too, because I'm creating my first freemium now, that I'm collecting emails with. In the past, I would use it, send it to someone if they requested it. Like I would talk about it on Facebook. Someone would say, oh, I want a copy. Like if you had a recipe that you wanted to share, that's a freemium. Like it's the same concept. But the problem is, it's a lot of people. I get overwhelmed when people want a recipe. So like, and you have to send it to like 80 people if it's like, but yeah, she's going to talk on this with email collection. I don't think you have to like, Chalene Johnson has pretty much said since I first started coaching how everyone needs an email list, and I would roll my eyes because it just seemed daunting. But even if you learn from this class how to connect better with your leads who are in an email list already in your online office, like you already have an email list, you know what I mean? So like, I think it would be worth your time, because it's a great way. So like my freemium is not even anything health and fitness related. It's mindset related, because that's usually how I meet people. And then fitness and health is a huge part of mindset. But I would recommend her course. I'll share the link in the Rock.
Cool. Thank you. I think that'd be great. And I agree. If Facebook goes away, and it could easily, they could shut you down. Especially if you say something they don't like, and you're gone. So it's really, I think it's great. And in fact, I was thinking, I'm going to look at the BOD groups to see if maybe there's some way I can creatively get a team page in BOD groups. Not that I would use yet, but just so everybody's there if we need it. But I would invest. I think, number one, I wanted to backtrack a little bit. You said when you were a diamond coach, right about a year in, that's when you started outsourcing some things for help. And so I would kind of set that as a benchmark. I think that's reasonable. You have a few people on your team. You know you're going to grow. Diamond is a good goal to start outsourcing some things and investing some money. And you really do have to start investing some money back in your into your business. And I honestly, $7 to get the free content where you're getting recipe, and Mompreneur also does something where she helps you set up an email list. I have all the content. I haven't gone through it, but she will provide you newsletters to go out. They're customized for coaches, so you can just use what she has and kind of paste it in. If you're a newer coach and you have a little bit more time, again, time is what we're looking at. So if you feel like you can use the material and it's going to be helpful for you, then I would say go for it. But if your list is still very small, maybe you don't want to go for the newsletter. But I think having that freemium that you pay one time for, and then you can constantly invite to that for maybe 3 months, and then maybe you invest a whole $7 more into the next one. But it's something you can keep using and set it. She even teaches you how you can set up a way to collect an email, and I think that's exactly what Kayla's going to do as well with the link that she's going to share. So I think that's going to be useful for you to just have some other options.
And Megan, what you're saying about like ignoring emails, she talks about that. Like a lot of people ignore them, but if your emails are a variety of giving value and then also asking every once in a while, it's like almost more exposure. Kind of like people see your Facebook feed over and over and they keep overlooking you and then eventually they click. But it's the same thing with, Facebook is not ours. It's like, it's not. Thankfully, because of bod groups, if Facebook went away, we all could still run our business. Like we would, you know what I mean? Like the connecting piece would have to get more creative, but we would have a place to like take people to support them and connect them. But I'm looking forward to what she shares too, because I do think there's value in that. And I agree, Rebecca. Like I told Courtney, because we didn't go to Summit, I invested my Summit budget into working with Kayla in this mastermind, because I've learned that you hit a point where you could spend all the time Googling and teaching yourself, or you could save the time and pay someone else who's done all the Googling teach you. And so that's why I think it's important to invest in your business when you need that tool.
That's right. I agree. So the only other tool that I'm going to mention before I close out is this, and that's I can't see my picture, but your planner. Because it's so crucial to map out your time and map out your day. And that's something I've been horrible with the last couple of months. But I can tell you 100% that when I'm investing that time into planning my day and saying when I'm going to do what, even if it's not perfect, even when it's not perfect, it is a vital tool that I've had to grow my business. So does anybody have any questions that they want to ask? I mean, we've been paying attention here on the chat. Anybody want to unmute, or is there anything that anybody wants to share that they're using that has been helpful, that might help others? All right, nobody's jumping on. All right, well, I'm going to say a quick prayer for us before we close out. Dear Lord, I just thank you for this time together. I thank you for this team. Thank you for the ability to come together in all the chaos that's surrounding us, and just to share with each other and to lift each other up and encourage each other in this business and all that you've given us. I just pray that you would help us this week and in the months to come to inspire us with ways to connect with people and send people to us who are ripe and ready for a life change in their health and fitness and in business growth. I just pray that this team would be blessed abundantly, and that you would give us courage as we grow our business. Help us not to be fearful, because we know that you have put us here, and we know that you've given this to us, and we know that it's an incredible gift. So thank you for that. Bless each and every one of the coaches that are on here today and those who watch this, and help us do everything to give you glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, ladies, have a great day. I will see you guys. So far, I'm planning on doing this again next month. I have no idea where I'll be next month. We don't actually have a house yet, but I think I'll be in California by this point. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted on that, but we'll try to have something either way. All right, you guys have a great afternoon. We'll talk to you soon.